All right, let's dive into something special today.
Sounds good to me. What are we exploring?
We're cracking open a bottle of Glengoyne 21-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey.
Ooh, now that's a whiskey with some serious age on it.
21 years, slowly maturing in the cask.
Oh,
I'm ready to see what secrets we uncover.
I'm with you. A whiskey like this has stories to tell.
Even the tasting notes have me curious.
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
Syrupy sweet. They even mentioned Christmas cake. How do those flavors even end up in a bottle?
It all comes down to the cask.
The cask.
Glengoyne ages this expression entirely in sherry casks.
Interesting. The whole 21 years.
A full 21.
Most distilleries use a mix of casks, right, to get a wider range of flavors.
Absolutely. It's pretty unusual to go all in on one type of cask for that long.
So why does Glengoyne do it?
They're aiming for a very specific flavor profile. And those sherry casks, especially the ones made with European oak, they're packed with rich, decadent notes.
European oak. What's so special about it?
Think of European oak casks like flavor libraries. They're full of dried fruits, cinnamon, nutmeg. You even get hints of walnut. All those flavors get passed on to the whiskey.
Wow, so that's the secret behind those Christmas cake notes.
It's a big part of it. But there's another twist.
Another twist.
While Glengoyne loves that European oak influence, they also use American white oak sherry casks.
Why would they do that if European oak is the flavor powerhouse?
Cost.
Ah, makes sense.
American oak is easier to come by, making it a bit easier on the wallet. You'll see this a lot in the whiskey world.
So the type of oak adds another dimension to the final flavor. Fascinating.
Every detail matters.
Speaking of details, our research mentioned Glengoyne's location near the lowland line. What's the story there? It's not just a random spot on the map, right?
Good catch. You're right, it's more than just geography.
What is it then?
That lowland line was actually a tax line back in the 1800s. It divided different whiskey regions.
A tax line. Wow.
Imagine the impact that had on Glengoyne's production methods back then.
I'm guessing being that close to the line probably influenced how they made their whiskey.
You got it. They might have developed techniques that set them apart. It could even be part of what makes their whiskey unique today.
Wow, so even a line on a map from centuries ago can affect what we taste today. That's amazing.
It's all connected.
And speaking of connections, our research also mentioned Glengoyne's slow distillation process. What makes that so special?
Slow distillation is key to Glengoyne's character. See, it gives the spirit more time to interact with the copper stills.
And that's a good thing.
It's where the magic happens. The longer that interaction, the smoother and richer the final product.
So it's like a slow dance between the spirit and the copper,
Exactly.
drawing out all the nuances.
And then you add in those 21 years in sherry casks.
Talk about taking your time.
Is how you get that mouth-watering full intensity and those incredible layers of flavor Glengoyne 21 is known for.
They've definitely mastered the art of patience.
Hmm.
Speaking of changes, though, I noticed they switched from a blue box to a black box for this expression.
Interesting.
It's just packaging, right?
It could be, or it could mean something more. A packaging change often signals something important.
Like what?
A new master blender.
Ah, so a new master blender might mean a slightly different flavor, even though it's still the Glengoyne 21.
Precisely. And when you're working with a whiskey, this aged, even small changes can be magnified.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The choice of casks, variations in the blending, even the weather, can impact the final character of what's in the bottle.
Wow. So each bottle is like a snapshot in time,
You could say that.
capturing a specific moment in Glengoyne's history.
I like that.
Makes you want to savor every single drop.
It does.
Especially since our research mentions that whiskey expert Horst Lewin called this expression very close to perfection in the maturation cycle.
He's not wrong.
What is it about this 21-year-old that makes it so special? What sets it apart?
It's really everything we've been talking about. Their dedication to those sherry casks, the slow distillation, their unique location, and now the influence of a new master blender. It all comes together.
All these different factors make it what it is.
Exactly. Each element adds something special, creating a truly remarkable whiskey.
Sounds like they've bottled up their entire philosophy.
And the best part is,
Okay, you said there's a best part. What is it about this Glengoyne 21 that's got you so excited?
this whiskey, even after 21 years, it's still changing.
Really? How so?
So interaction between the spirit and the wood, it doesn't stop just because it's bottled.
So the flavor can still evolve,
Yeah,
even after all those years.
absolutely. Every bottle is like a time capsule, but the flavors inside, they're still mingling and maturing.
So the Glengoyne 21 I opened today might taste a little different a few years from now. That's incredible.
Exactly. It's a journey of discovery with every sip.
This has been an amazing deep dive. So for our listeners who are about to pour themselves a dram of this Glengoyne 21, what's the one thing they should keep in mind?
This is a whiskey that's rooted in tradition, from that slow distillation to those exclusive sherry
It's
casks.
like they've bottled up their philosophy, just like you said.
Exactly. But it's also a whiskey that's constantly evolving. That recent change in master blender that adds a whole other layer of intrigue.
It's a fascinating mix of old and new.
And that begs the question, with everything we've talked about, the aging, the new master blender, those different oak types, how will the flavor of Glengoyne 21 continue to change in the years to come?
That's a question I'm ready to explore one sip at a time. Cheers to embracing the complexity whiskey and to new discoveries with every dram. Until next time, happy exploring.